Did Donald Trump really think we forgot about Melania? Well, let me explain. Right now, Donald Trump is in a state of panic that we have never seen before. With Epstein destroying his presidency, he is swinging for the fences to try to save himself, and the fences, they're swinging back in the form of Republican members of Congress calling him out, members of the media abandoning him, his party base completely turning on him, and Donald Trump is trying to do anything to attack those who will not back him, including Thomas Massie, whose deceased wife, Donald Trump mocked last night in his Truth Social meltdown. But Donald Trump should keep in mind that there is a lot to mock of him and his relationship, which is exactly what's happening because of new Epstein evidence. Melania Trump is humiliating Donald. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into how Melania has humiliated Donald Trump with this new Epstein evidence out, I want to start with where Donald Trump did last night in his Truth Social tirade with Thomas Massie and what he had to say about the Epstein files.
These documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to. That list also includes at least 19 other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada.
There is so much more to this story. This is what we learn every single day, that there is always going to be more to this story. Even Donald Trump admitted it. It was only a few months ago where Pam Bondi said, case closed, move on, don't look at Epstein, don't think about Epstein, don't talk about Epstein, we've shut it down. And yesterday, Donald Trump announces that he wants her to investigate Bill Clinton and Larry Summers and Reid Hoffman. And sure, anyone with ties to Epstein, especially Trump, should be investigated. But that's him admitting that they didn't do their due diligence and that there is more meat on that bone, that the lie that Kash Patel said, that Jeffrey Epstein was acting completely independent of other associates, this wasn't a cabal, it was just him, was obviously not true. There are so many people involved. There are so many people that Donald Trump is covering for, and there is so much of Donald Trump's past that he wants to cover, including his relationship with Melania and the criminal relationship. Well, we are going to get into it all, but I think, again, we have to continue with Thomas Massie. He has been poking and prodding at Trump, but the relationship before Epstein wasn't that bad, and of course it actually involved his deceased wife. And Donald Trump's post about it has only shown how desperate he is. I want to hear what Massie said about Trump calling him after his wife passed and read this post before we see how Melania gets involved.
So Trump, when my wife passed away last summer, he had left a very nice message. I would have obviously taken his call, but I was inundated with calls, but he left a really nice message of condolences.
Trump wrote on Truth Social, did Thomas Massie, sometimes referred to as Rand Paul Jr. because of the fact that he always votes against the Republican Party, get married already? Boy, that was quick. No wonder the polls have him at less than 8% chance of winning the election. Anyway, have a great life, Thomas, and ? His wife will soon find out that she's stuck with a loser. Now, why Donald Trump is feigning shock at Thomas Massie getting remarried is, again, because a year ago, his wife passed away. And as we saw in that clip, it meant something to Thomas Massie that Donald Trump called him, that he wished him well, that he reached out, and in an instance of care that we have never seen by Donald Trump for anyone else but himself seemed to care. But Donald Trump doesn't care. Donald Trump has never cared. Donald Trump will never care. I don't understand how these guys in MAGA can rationalize all of this to themselves, that they can pretend like there is a person under this disgusting, like alien skin that is Donald Trump. It's like the bug in Men in Black who gets inside of the farmer's skin and he's like walking around and slurring and drinking the really sugary lemonade. Like, that's Donald Trump, not only because his brain doesn't work and he slurs and he's, constantly pounding Diet Coke, but seriously, this guy is a freak. He's evil. Why do you try to pretend that he's anything but that? But what Donald Trump has done so stupidly by invoking wives, which not a shock for Donald Trump to do that, not the first time he's done it in his political career, is open up criticism of his, not just the time that they spent together with Epstein, but of course this new evidence has Donald Trump losing his mind so much he'll attack anybody, but the attacks are coming back your way, Donald. A lot of people on Twitter were pointing out this, about how Melania humiliated you during your last criminal go-around. Responding to Trump's post at Massey, one Twitter user wrote, "I can't believe I'm wasting time on this nonsense, but Massey remarried 16 months after his wife's death, while Trump had a fling with a porn star just 4 months after Melania gave birth to their son. So, for the title of greatest sleazebag, Private Bone Spurs is a clear winner." This was also a reminder of the last time Donald Trump was in criminal trouble, and what Melania did while Trump was on trial. As Tiffany Trump, Eric Trump, and Don Jr. stood in support of their father, Donald Trump, at the courthouse where he was standing trial earlier this month, a reporter could be heard shouting distinctly, "Where's Melania?" It's a question that echoed around the courtroom for weeks as Trump endured day after day in Manhattan criminal court, accused in on Thursday, found guilty of falsifying business records in order to cover up a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels in the lead up to the 2016 election. Over the 6-week trial, the former president was repeatedly asked and always ignored the question, "Where's Melania?" And it was reported widely that Melania, Ivanka, their absence at trial absolutely bothered Donald Trump. So Donald, if you want to talk about wives, let's remember that Thomas Massey remarrying after 16 months is not something that deserves criticism, but having sex with a porn star 4 months after your wife gave birth to a child, your child, who you clearly don't care about except for how impressed you are that he can start a computer and then turn it off because you're a dumb fuck, that is disgusting. That is gross. And the crimes you committed while doing so, she didn't back you. She wasn't behind you. She doesn't love you. Donald Trump is so devoid of anything real in his life. Of course, he's going to be lashing out at people's relationships because he doesn't actually understand them. He doesn't know what it's like for anyone to care about him because mommy and daddy never gave him the amount of attention that he needed, and now it's our fucking problem. Everyone in this country has to deal with the worst person in America leading us or not leading us because he doesn't lead us. He just screams and attacks and breaks our politics and drives us crazy. And it is insane to me that so many in MAGA seem to just now be waking up. Donald Trump's a bad guy. He'll attack your deceased wife. What a shock. It's not. We've been known this guy. Sorry for the grammar, but I know who Donald Trump is. When new Epstein emails come out and he's like bumping into walls, staring at little girls in a pool because he's so infatuated because our president's a pedo or he's allegedly blowing Bill Clinton, I'm not shocked. Now, I don't know if that last one's true. It's a rumor, but I don't know. We'll talk about it. I'm not shocked. Why would you be? We know who this guy is. None of this is surprising. Yet all of these people in MAGA who are kind of waking up or walking around like, who is this man? This isn't the Donald Trump that I knew. Well, who were you watching? How far was your head in the sand or this guy's fucking big ass that you didn't notice, that you didn't know, that you haven't heard us screaming constantly about this? I refuse to take these people seriously. I refuse. Like this post from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene wrote on Twitter today after her spat with Donald Trump, "I am now being contacted by private security firms with warnings for my safety as a hotbed of threats against me and are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the world, the man I supported and helped get elected. Aggressive rhetoric attacking me has historically led to death threats and multiple convictions of men who were radicalized by the same type of rhetoric rhetoric being directed at me now, this time by the President of the United States. As a woman, I take threats from men seriously. I now have a small understanding of the fear and the pressure the women who are victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his cabal must feel. You now understand? You have been perpetrating political violence the entire time you have been in elected office, and before that, Marjorie Taylor Greene followed around David Hogg, a school shooting survivor, and his sister in Washington, D.C. to scream at them that they were crisis actors. David's a friend of mine. Do you want me to get him on the phone, Marjorie, and you can talk about the threats to his life that were caused by you? Fucking January 6th, you put the entire Congress in the way of not death threats, people trying to kill them because of your rhetoric. But now that it's you, it's oh my God. Oh my God. Sound the alarm bell. Politics has gotten violent. Whoa. It has, Marjorie? Oh, I didn't know. I was only watching the news for the past 10 fucking years as your disgusting movement of freaks and criminals and radicals has been destroying this country. But it doesn't clock to them until it's them. Do not take them seriously. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sorry, in the same way that I don't feel bad for Melania Trump. I don't. I truly don't, because you signed up for this. They did. They signed up for this. And so I'll be happy to see these people call out Donald Trump. I will. But I'm not going to feel bad when they endure the same wrath from him that everybody else has and that they've stood by until it gets personal. But, Thomas Massie, keep talking, because I want to hear more stuff like this.
But when they're protecting pedophiles, when they are blowing our budget, when they are starting wars overseas, I'm sorry, I can't go along with that. And back home, people agree with me. They understand, even the most ardent Trump supporters understand sometimes he gets bad advice, sometimes he gives bad advice, and we wouldn't model our lives after him, his personal life, and they're okay with that. I mean, you can still like Donald Trump in Kentucky and like what I'm doing and what Ro Khanna is doing, which is trying to get transparency.
Well,
I'm not saying that I'm not going to encourage or be excited or promote or talk about when Republicans are speaking out against this administration. But believe you me, I have about this much sympathy for you. None. I don't. I'm sorry. You have caused this. And just because you woke up to it now doesn't mean you get a medal and an attaboy and your sins forgiven. It's not how this works. I'm going to let you keep talking, but I'm not going to be your best friend, Marjorie. Not going to be your best friend, Thomas Massie, and I'm not going to be your best friend, Melania. I will continue to call these people out and the hypocrisy. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.